Welcome to the RSP Film Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. We're going to take a look at LSU wide receiver Kayshon Boutte. And Kayshon Boutte is up at the top left. You know, watch him have a nice stem, break open, realize that it's not actually going to be an open break because the quarterback's in scramble drill mode, and he's able to reroute himself for a nice catch. Let's look at all the way through one more time. Pads over knees, comes off the line smoothly. You like that? No wasted movement. Full speed acceleration there. Get the defender's hips turned. And then you can see that break. Let's take a look at that break one more time. One long step too quick. Turns back to the outside. Sees that the quarterback's not looking for him right there. But he does drift towards the boundary there and to give his quarterback an additional window. When he sees that his quarterback is about to break the pocket right there, reroutes, sudden stab, and then turns upfield and executes the scramble drill perfectly. Johnson throws that ball towards the boundary. Look at the late 180-degree turn. Over the shoulder catch. Drags the feet at the boundary. We're going to take a look at it over the right side here from this red zone view. And you're going to see the catch at this point. And you can see here he's facing downhill towards the inside. And then he makes that late turn, gets the arm out to frame that separation. It's not a push-off. He's just reinforcing the distance he has and the position he has against the defender. And then makes the late turn, extends the hands, makes the catch, drags both feet, turns his body away so that he doesn't land on the ball. A lot of good skills there that you see on display as an athlete and as a technician, both in terms of positioning at the boundary, at the catch point, late hands, rerouting conceptually for the scramble drill. Nice work. We're going to see a little bit more of that on display on an earlier play in this game. Up top left once again. Gives a little bit of a quick two right off the line. Look at the drop and weight there, and pads over the knees, really selling the vertical route all the way to the top of the stem and really accelerates into the top of his stem into the break. Quick two steps, and watch him accelerate back to the ball there and then extend for it while getting pushed out of bounds. Very nice job extending for the ball. Nice job coming back to it out of the route. Good acceleration through the break from the stem all the way into the break and really accelerating back right there, making sure that he gets that position. Well done. One of the underlying themes that I see with Boutte's game is his ability, when he does have a ball arrive at chest level, he can extend for it. See how he extends his hands to the earliest point to make that catch? That gives him room for any type of error in case he doesn't get a clean catch right away. It's going to get more of a softer bounce because the ball's less likely to bounce as hard off of his chest if he makes contact with it first with his hands. So watch him work across his zone, settles into the zone right there, makes a nice target, extends the arms, makes the grab. A little bit of a juggle there, but still able to make the contact. Now, one thing that you notice is see how when he gets low, he leaves his feet and kind of squats here with that overhand position. You'd like to see him be able to catch this underhand and maybe continue downfield. And this is a theme we're also going to see a couple times with his game, is that he seems to fall to the ground in situations where you'd like to see him make the catch and continue running. This is a perfect example. You're going to see Boutte right here, slot left. He's going to run that slant against zone, wide open. You know, tempos his break well. Here comes the ball. Ball is a little bit low, but see how he bends so low that he loses his footing and kind of clicks his heels together. And look at all that room that was there to his right across the field. And we're going to see later on him being able to win some big plays off slants like this. But this was one that he knows he wishes he could have kept his feet. But he made that wide step right there. His heels click. He falls to the ground. If he can work on his footing a little bit more through the catch point, especially with lower balls where he can extend and catch the ball in stride, this might have been a touchdown. It could have been a much bigger play. 17 yards is nice, Much bigger play would have been more optimal. But you can see the ball's a little bit into his frame when he takes that wide step. And part of that may be a little bit of a tracking thing where when the ball's a little bit low like this and he's tracking, he took that wide step to get there and then the ball arrived into his body a bit. His heels end up clicking together. May not have gauged it exactly where he needed to in terms of that long step that he had to take in preparation to reach that ball. Maybe he didn't need to take quite as long of a step as he thought because he extends long and then the ball arrives into his frame. So if he gauges this a little bit better where it is wide of his frame, he probably didn't need to take as long of a step, less likely to have a heel click, more likely to continue downfield for a huge gain if not a score. Now the nice thing is that he can get low to catch targets, and especially targets that are not exactly on his frame. Here he is breaking across here over the middle. The ball arrives low and to the back hip. Does a good job of getting under that ball, taking the hit to the chest as he makes a sliding catch, scores on the play. So you can see that with Boutte that I'm having trouble pronouncing his name. It's Boutte. But you're going through here, you can see that he does a good job of turning that back hip, being able to make that catch, and then protect himself, get low, protect the ball. When it comes to leaving his feet, low throws that require him to have to fall to the ground, he protects the ball very well and that he can take contact. This one is a little bit of a nitpicking of a point, but in the pros, nitpicking is the difference between being a good NFL starter and being a good college prospect who never becomes a serious contributor in the league. It's those small details that matter. Here he is, slot left. You're going to see him run this out. Does a good job with the break step there, but he comes out of this break a little slow, and he's about a step late. Now, this ball may have still been a little bit too high and far for him, but let's watch the break in real time. You can see he starts to speed up right there. So he's about a step late to this ball, maybe two, and he started to speed up at a certain point where he might have been able to reach this ball if he went a little bit harder. But again, he is running this in an open zone, and he's trying to extend the window for his quarterback. So this is the type of situation where I'm not going to make a definitive statement and say that he's necessarily, wrong here with that he didn't come out of his break fast enough. Maybe a better, more likely answer is that there's a possibility that because his quarterback's on the scramble drill, he's taught to extend as long as possible in this window to buy time and buy space for his quarterback to be able to lead him. And it just turned out that with the quarterback under pressure, the ball sailed a little bit high and far. But it's one of those points that you could probably have a conversation with the staff and what they're taught, the players and what they're taught, and it might go either way. And you probably want to see more looks. This play, I have no doubts that Boutte can improve. And you're going to see him at the top of the screen here on this vertical route. They have this little scissors concept that they love to run with Boutte, where they start him inside. He works around to the outside. The defensive backs hopefully get caught up in the wash like they did here. He gets separation with the speed that he has. And then he goes up and does not bring the ball down. And when we watch this play from the red zone view, you're going to see Boutte use his hands in a position that's really suboptimal for this target. When you're running a fade, you're running any ball that's a vertical route where you have to jump back for the ball, meaning that you stop and leap straight up in the air, which he does well in terms of he's not leaning really far back. His back's not parallel to the ground. You see a lot of receivers do that in the college game, and that opens them up to the defender too unnecessarily. This is one of those plays where the defender's already in the inside hip, so he's jumping back. But see how he's underhand with this ball? He's approaching it underhand rather than overhand. And as a result of that, with that leap, that jump back, and he's underhand, it's hard to tell whether the defender knocks it or whether the receiver knocks it upward. But it doesn't matter one or the other. What really matters is the root cause of this ball not being caught is that Boutte doesn't use overhand position to catch the ball at the furthest point from his frame and win the ball at the highest point. His hands are just above the helmet of the defender. If he's overhand, his hands are probably meeting the ball right here, just above the defender's reach. And that could have been a catch because he would have been able to pull that ball down. Instead, the defender is able to interfere with his catch process, or at the very least, Boutte ends up knocking the ball upward like a volleyball setter because of the contact. So either way, you want to see him try to attack the ball at the highest point using the correct hands position of overhand technique, thumbs together, reaching out and extending to the farthest point to the target. Now, I don't think Boutte is an unbelievable blazer of a speedster. He might be able to run below 4.5. He might even be in the mid 4.4s, like a Marvin Jones type when Marvin Jones came out. You're going to see him on the left side. He is very quick, though. And you can see that once he gets separation, he's going to be able to maintain separation for at least 40 or 50 yards against cornerbacks chasing him, and even without having to veer across the field. You can see here that this cornerback gets baited because look at Boutte here. He gives a little bit of look inside, gives the hard plant step to the outside to try and set up as if he was faking inside, planting outside, gets the defender to turn the hips outside and then wide open on the slant and slows his breakdown so that he can be open across that zone. Accelerates as he makes the catch away from his frame, overhand technique, secures it quickly, and he's gone. It's beautiful play, and this is the type of play that's kind of been bread and butter for him in this offense, is being able to win these slants. That's probably the route of choice for Boutte, at least up until 2022. Here's another one of those slants against Auburn. You're going to see him top of the screen, single receiver on the left side, run the slant against off coverage, and he faces a faster cornerback here. Does a good job of working all the way across the field to extend his angle for about 45, 50 yards before that defensive back finally chases him down and cuts him off at the boundary. So you can see that he has field flipping speed in the sense that he can win vertical routes. Now, is he Jamar Chase fast? I don't know. I would say that he's probably a little bit less explosive. I think he's less explosive than Chase. I think, he's certainly quick enough. He's certainly fast enough to be a big play option in an offense. He just may not be the guy that matches up against everyone optimally in the vertical game. One of the things I'm interested to see with Boutte, now that he's had a pair of ankle surgeries, one to deal with the injury and one is more of a cleanup procedure or a second procedure to help out with the first surgery after last year, is whether he can do what he does right here. See that quick stop-start movement? Watch how he bends his hips, too. He's the inside trips receiver on the right side, makes the catch, underhand catch, and look at that bend. Look at the bend with the hips, the ankles, the knees, the crouch that he gets into. Is he going to be able to do that well and be as sudden and get his feet up and avoid contact like that? I know it's a small play, doesn't get a lot of yards out of it, but that type of bend, you can see that that's something that's going to be applied to his route running, to some of his release skills, what he does after the catch, his different breaks. Is he going to be able to do that at this level consistently coming off that injury? I think the answer is probably so. And it's something that's a really nice part of his game, is that he can be very crisp with his feet and then flip his hips. See how he flips his hips and turns it around? That's what helps him avoid that safety over the top and forces a second defender to have to tackle him. He's definitely an intriguing receiver in terms of players that are probably going to be at the top of the class this year at the position. Here he is again with this little switch concept. Well, no, they faked the switch concept there. It looks like that they might have gone with the scissors, but they don't do that. They just run the fade with him from the slot. But, intriguing guy, tracks the ball well, seems to have very solid hands, real good tools to work with as a route runner, shows a lot available with concentration, just has to refine some little things with his game in terms of hand positions, and I think you've got a player who has some promise to potentially be a starter in this league, maybe a very good one. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.